slightly more advanced demo for doing the shape builder. Now, in this case, there maybe aren't such cut and dry answers for what shapes you want to use, and we're going to use a little bit more in terms of being able to like round the corners on these triangles and things. So how would you go about building this particular compass? I can start off kind of big and work our way smaller. So we start off with this big orange circle. So I'm going to grab my ellipse tool. Now, I want to make that fill that particular orange, not just an orange that's close by. So one tool that's the same, again, in many Adobe products, is this eyedropper tool. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to select in the big circle. So you can see now my fill has automatically become this big circle. And the circle doesn't have a stroke on it, and it knows that, so it's changed that already for me. So that's terrific. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click and I'm going to drag down. And if I get the top and bottom, since I'm holding the shift key and it's going to make a perfect circle, I know I'll have a circle that's the same size. Next guy in, again, another circle. So I'm going to take my eyedropper. Oops. See, I didn't deselect. So I'm going to edit, undo. And I want to grab my selection tool and I want to deselect. That way I don't do anything to that circle. Okay, now I'm going to go grab my eyedropper and get this middle circle. Go back over to my ellipse tool, and I want to line up with the top of this circle. Shift, click and drag. I want the smart guide to tell me when I hit the bottom of that circle. Terrific. Now we want to go back to my selection tool, and I want to move this circle into the middle of the big circle. Perfect. These are where the smart guides are wonderful. Okay, great. That's the easy bit, right? And I know I'm going to want one more circle. So you know what? I'm going to deselect. I'm going to make that circle. And I'm going to just get those out of the way. And then I'm going to think about how I'm going to make the other bits. And then I can rearrange my objects so that the right ones are on top. So, okay, let's get the circles out of the way. Grab the eyedropper again. I want this yellow. I'm going to go grab my ellipse tool again. And line your smart guides up at the top of that ellipse. Hold down shift. Get to, there we go, bottom of the ellipse. Terrific. Go back to my selection tool. Move him into the middle. Okay, perfect. What you want to do is to make your rounded triangles here. So we're just going to start with making a triangle, and then we will round it next. So you're in your ellipse tool, and you want to make a triangle. So you're going to click, again, the ones with little triangles. You can click and hold down to get another tool. And it doesn't seem to be any of these. Well, the polygon tool is going to let you draw a shape, and you can tell it how many corners you want it to be. So a polygon just means a shape that has multiple angles in it. So by default, it's this, I think it's hexagon. I think that's how many sides that is. So I'm going to click and drag it out, and I'm like, okay, I've got this hexagon. But I don't want there to be 5 sides. It's 6 sides, whatever, that it has. I only want 3. I want a triangle. So I'm going to go back to my select tool. Now, remember what I said about the properties panel, and it will try to guess what you want to do. And it's pretty good, but it doesn't always have everything. Well, it tells me about my polygon, but I want it to only have 3 sides. I have to click on these little more dots. And again, that 3-dot thing, and this is kind of true across lots of applications, tends to mean more options. So I want an option that it's not showing me automatically. And the first thing up here you see is this number. So it's telling me how many sides. Well, it's got 6 right now, and I want 3. So I'm just going to click down, and as you see, now it's a hexagon. That's got 5. 4, it's a square. 3, it's a triangle. Perfect. That's what I want. So, okay, I can close that by just clicking anywhere, and I got my triangle. Now, I'm going to bring it over towards this triangle here, because I want to use this triangle to help me figure out what I want. So I'm going to, as you can see, when I'm near the corners, I can either scale it, I can move it one direction, or sometimes I get these little ones that are rounded, and that means that I can rotate it. So I'm going to click and rotate, and I want it to like line up with this guy down here. So yeah, that looks about right. Yeah, I think that's happy. All right, so is it about the right size? Yep, I'll line it up size-wise. Okay, terrific. I think it's too wide, though, so I'm going to bring that over. I want to make you smaller. Yeah. It's still not quite right. So it's not quite lining up right, but I want it to line up perfectly. So I'm going to use a different selection tool. This is our main selection. This is called Direct Select. And in Direct Select, I can hit each of these little anchor points and line them up. Now, I want to see better, so I'm going to zoom in. So remember, Command and plus zooms in. And it's smart, it zooms in on the object I'm using. So you can see now it's telling me anchor. So I want to grab that anchor, and I want to line it up with that anchor. I'm going to grab it, line it up. And grab this guy, I want to line that up there. And this one, yeah, line that up in the middle there. Okay, it's matching up better now, but it's not rounded. Well, you see this guy here, and you see how it's changed the cursor again? Whoop, it's round now. And it's telling me that it's a 4 pixel. The further down I go, the more rounded it is. So it looks like I actually have to bring this up a bit in order to have it round where I want it to. So now I'm going to round it. Let's try, oh, it's a little rounder than I want. There we go. That's perfect. Great. So I'm going to zoom out with just Command minus. Okay, now I want to be my regular selection tool because I just want to move it. I'm going to grab that triangle and I'm going to bring it over to this guy. Okay, great. So I'm going to stick you in here and see it's lining everything up. Now I don't want to have to go through all that again. So I can just copy and paste and then rotate and move the guys, that rest of them. So I'm going to copy, edit, copy, and I'm going to edit, paste. Got another one. All right, stick that down the bottom. Yep. It's not going to line up quite right because I need to rotate it. Again, if I hold down shift, it's going to rotate in increments of 45 degrees, which makes life easier. Oh, now it's going to line up much better. Okay, perfect. Oops, undo that. Get you in the middle. There we go, you're in the middle. Okay, paste again. Put you here. Rotate you. Yeah, okay, happy. Can fine tune this later. More or less, those are more or less in the right spots. I can play and make sure that it's exactly where I want a little bit. But now I need this guy. Now this guy's kind of like two of those combined. So how am I going to combine them? So first off, I'm going to paste another one because I've already done that work. And I'm going to change the stroke. Since I still have it connected, if I take that eyedropper tool, remember if I click on that, it's going to change the thing that's still selected. So awesome. Now it's the right color. But I want two of them. So I'm going to copy this new guy and paste it again. And I'm going to turn you all the way 180 degrees. Okay. I'll line you up. That's pretty much what I want that to look like, except it's two different shapes now. So I can either group them, but then I've still got these extra points in here. Or, again, with them both selected, I can go to the Shape Builder tool, and I can click and drag, and now that's one shape, and you notice that there's no weird little line in the middle anymore. Awesome. What I'm looking for. So now I can take this guy and be like, okay, let's line it up. I want you to be taller. I want you to be wider. You can kind of go and it's not quite the right angle. There we go. I want you there. Still not quite the right angle. Play with it a little bit. Oh, there we go. Getting there. So I can fine tune this and play with it until I'm happy with it. Awesome. Let's say I'm happy with it now. Pop that over here. Except it's on top of my circle. So now I just want to point out that these are all sitting kind of in space, like you've cut out pieces of paper and you've popped them on top of each other. So you can go up to the object in a range and you can send it backwards. And there's those 4 triangles, so I'm going to have to send it backwards a couple of times because it doesn't really know, like, you know, what's sitting on top of what. So send it backwards. Probably have to do it 5 times. And then there we go. I've got my circle. So now I'm happy with all that. So now I'm going to select all you guys And like it says, group. Cool. Now I can move my compass around. And you've made yourself a compass.